All right, so we're going to be going over some more of the on-page SEO today. All right, I'm going to show you the spreadsheet. We're going to be picking that back up, which is this handy dandy little thing here that is your Bible, if you will, when it comes to GMB SEO. I have everything in it. It's got like 30 freaking, it's at least 15 tabs. And then inside the GMB toolkit, you got all this other stuff, my GMB posts, how to do my stacks, buyer intent keywords, the audits, the competitive categories, all that stuff. We're eventually going to be going over all of it, right? Just to show you the power of, if you will, good content. This is where we started at. This was not even 2 weeks ago. This is today, or as of yesterday, matter of fact. That's the result of us going and putting in almost 30,000 words of content on every single one of these pages, right? Every one of these pages, almost every one of them has about 1,500 words of content. There's about 20 pages altogether, okay? If you were to select the text and see how many words there are, yeah, that one has 558, but over all of them, like this one and some other of these, we got about 1,500 words of content on them. But generally the very top page, no. Commercial sod services, residential sod services, all that's like, we just put a lot of content. Not all pages going to have 1,500, but the majority of them will. Admit this person, sod installation guide, golf turf, everything. We did really good content overall. And then we did a tips and guide, buffalo bluegrass maintenance. If you were to take, for example, all the content we did, it's about 20 to 30,000 words of content. Okay. The result was what I just showed you, is that map now going, okay, we are ranking. Didn't mean it to happen so fast, but it did. We have not even optimized the GMB yet. Matter of fact, we go to new incognito window so y'all can see this, that I'm not bullshitting nobody. Sod installation, or a sod and sod supplier. They weren't nowhere to be found at all. And now in St. Louis, we're already starting to pick up. We're already in this instance, we're on that specific keyword. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We weren't even in the top 20 pages, and now we're already number 5. Without doing any on-page optimization, without doing any GMB optimization or anything. Right? And in some areas, we're hitting number 1, number 2, and then another area is 3, 4. And I pull some rankings from Local Viking, and I can actually show you. And this is why I say, for instance, y'all need to do really good content, lots of it. 20 to, at least about 20 pages, about 1,500 words each. I don't just pull numbers out of my hoo-hoo just to say this is what you should do. But for instance, I'll go in here. And we'll show y'all some things. All right. All right. But nevertheless, this is the website. We're already starting to pull rankings and whatnot. Okay. The next thing on our agenda, because last week we were going through this spreadsheet. Let me pull this back real quick. there's going to be a couple of little things that we're going to do. Okay. We're obviously going to go through the rest of the spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you some more of the different things, and we'll walk through. If you have any questions, you can ask them. I'm not using SEO Surfer at all. Matter of fact, SEO Surfer Local just came out with another tool they're talking about yesterday, and that tool already exists. It's pretty cool on Google. It's basically Google Lenses, where I can take an image, you drop it into it, and it basically tells you what does Google see when it sees this image. So we'll show you all some of that. Only tool we're using is Conversion AI, and my VAs use it to do all the writing and everything. I'm not using any on page or SEO Surfer Pop, none of that. Okay. Haven't done any of that. Haven't even begun. We're only 2 weeks in. So if we were to pull the spreadsheet, I'm going to show you this real quick, and then we're going to do some actual work. Okay. Let's pin me to the top. Pin. Okay. And view. Got 2 more people. Admit all. All right. So last week we were here where we are checking user experience, the site being friendly. It passed the core vitals. All this performance on this spreadsheet has to do pretty much with your server, right? If your server sucks and you're using GoDaddy, get the hell off of it. Okay. We pretty much don't have to do some of this stuff, mainly because we're using Gutenberg, and whenever you're uploading your images, let's go through it. So your server is going to be your top performing web host. So check your server. Where are you using? I use HawkHost. If you do not have servers, or you want and the recommendation, I'll drop that in there as well, but that is HawkHost. It's underneath my tools list, which y'all should have. Use a CDN. What's a CDN? A CDN is basically a place where we store images. Instead of it being stored on your server, it's stored in the cloud, if you will. And that way, whenever it's pulled, doesn't have to be pulled every single time, all your content. Okay. gzip compression, you check that. Most of these tools will do that for you. Gift to speed, Jarvie. Check your HTTP and HTTPS. Use a caching solution. Most of these tools do it. There is one tool in specific that I will show you guys that y'all can use to cover 900% of this stuff, right? When I say it covers almost everything to do with performance, it's this lovely little tool called NitroPack. I've had people that can't get out of the D's and C's. You install this little bad boy on your website, and this is what you wind up getting: passing scores, and it will literally optimize everything without you having to install 50 plugins to do stuff that is done with one plugin. The only thing is the pricing on this, and no, I do not have an affiliate on it. Okay, it's free for 5,000 or less visits or page views per month. Once you get over that, then it's monthly. Okay. But NitroPack does freaking wonders when it comes to page speed. Okay. That's going to be one of the tools I'll put down the back end and say, hey, by the way, here's NitroPack. Here's the link. And, you should get it. Okay. Because they're really cool and it does an amazing job. One of my students, George, is the one that told me about that one probably a year ago. Optimize the database, lazy load your images, iframes, YouTube embeds, all this. But most of these tools, all these tools right here, can all be replaced with NitroPack. Really, you don't need any of this. If you need any of this after NitroPack, what you need is a new web host, really. All right, technical SEO. I'll get to the questions once we're done because I know we're going to have a ton of them. So if you have any questions, put them in the back end. You're going to check, for instance, when you're doing your website design and whenever you are setting up your domain name, a lot of times people will not properly set up HTTP and HTTPS. Okay. They will not set up instead they'll go, let's say, instead of the website being set up as www.domain.com, they'll set it up as domain.com. And believe me, that stuff actually does matter. People actually do care. So you've got to make sure these things are set up properly. Whenever you're setting up your hosting, whenever you're installing your WordPress, you don't want to mix content. What's mixed content? Sometimes it's secure, sometimes it's not. If it's not secure, then you're going to have an error in your audits whenever we do them. All right. The robot text file. A lot of times you'll have people, they'll build out a freaking website. And after they build out a website and they go live with it, they forget to edit in the back end. And I'll show you. They forget to edit in the back end and say, hey, Google bots, you should probably crawl this really new cool website. Right. And then whenever they leave it as no index, then their site doesn't get crawled by Google and therefore they get no rankings. Okay. If you go into the back end of Google under settings, I'm waiting for the load because it's still with this, video. It's going to load forever. But in the back end under settings, you'll find where it says in specific, do you want Google to crawl the website? And you just check off yes, of course. Let's see here real quick. Next one, you're going to check and fix broken links. Let me see if I can get to these settings. General. So under the no index, we go to settings and we go to reading. And once you go to reading, you see right here where it says discourage search engines from indexing this site. You don't ever want this thing checked off, okay? Same thing when you're using Yoast plugins, rank math plugins. There are buttons when you're setting it up where you can actually check things off and say, hey, I don't want, for instance, archives indexed. I don't want authors indexed. I don't want categories indexed. Or some things I don't understand why people wouldn't want indexed, but that's them, not me. Fix and check for redirect. What's a redirect? A redirect is where, for example, a page used to exist, no longer exists, and now when someone goes to it, it redirects and gets in this never-ending redirect loop. Okay, to put it in simple layman terms. Do you have meta description, meta title issues? Are you missing them? You can use Screaming Frog, Site Bulb, a bunch of different things to find these. I actually use between the two, I use Screaming Frog, and then I also use the Auditor, which I will show you, which is much better in my perceptions. Use redirects properly. A redirect that you should be doing and be, for example, my website used to be, for example, let's give you an example, sod installation, and now I named the page sod installation near me. Well, the redirect should be redirected, not in an ever-living non-ending loop. It should go directly to the new page. Okay, so you got to make sure those are set up right. Index covering issues. We actually check this inside of Google Search Console. So inside of Google Search Console, we would check that issue as well, if there is an issue. All right, and I'll show you that as well. We check for manual penalties, and I'll show you where we check for that as well. Now, all this stuff can be checked out inside of Google Search Console. All right. Let me pull it real quick for you. Any questions so far? Let's go page removals. So we have no manual penalties so far. I'm looking inside, nothing. No manual penalties. Nothing's been removed. No issues whatsoever. All right. No mobile issues. Okay. So inside of your Google Search Consoles, where you're going to check for manual penalties, you're going to check for coverage issues, if there's indexing issues, and there's And that's also going to be where we're going to submit our sitemap. Okay, but we'll get to that. Keep pages at a minimum of 3 clicks from reach. In other words, we'll go through this with you. I don't want to have to sit here, and a lot of times, in my opinion, you'll look at a menu and it just looks too hard. It'll go, for instance, services, SOD, down over here, down over here, down over here. It'll be a submenu, 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 submenu. It makes it very difficult for the bots, and it makes it very difficult for other people. Make sure you use no index and no follow tags properly when you're setting up your pages. There are going to be things that you don't want the bots to find. Obviously, your WordPress database. Obviously, your login. You don't want them, indexing your login pages and stuff. Okay. So that's that part. Now, we already did all of this. This is where we went through and created the content. We did the content strategy. We did the content research already. We created some long form content. This week, we're actually creating 4 press releases. They're going to be 2,500 words each. So 10,000 new words of content for press releases. All right. Cannibalization. What is cannibalization? Cannibalization is where, for instance, we'll have 2 pages trying to rank for, let's say, sod installation. One will be ranked for sod installation. The other one's ranked for sod installation. And they are, if you will, eating each other or defeating the purpose of trying to get one page ranked. Why? Because most of the time you got more duplicate content, or the content looks the same, or it's too similar. That is where you get into identifying, fixing duplicate content. That is what true duplicate content is. Duplicate content is not me taking a press release and putting it across 20 different press release channels. That is not duplicate content. Okay. If it was, then all the news stations and newspapers around the world would be out of business, and they are not. Okay. Create content hubs. A content hub, and we'll go through what content is, but we've already done that. But a hub is pretty much where I go. For example, I have, for instance, this is going to be about services, right? Or SOD services. And then underneath SOD services, I'm going to have commercial, I'm going to have residential, and etc. Right? That is what, if you will, a hub should look like. And everything about underneath here is going to be about SOD services. Then the same thing with here, where it says our SOD. Our SOD is about the different types of SOD. Okay. Tips and guides, all about different tips and guides regarding SOD installation. How to maintain, how to prep your soil, how to install it, how to order it, how to water established turf, how to water new sod. It's all about tips and guides, right? Then we got a blog, which you're going to have a bunch of that in there. Underneath my facts, then I got a bunch of questions about sod installation and how many pieces of sod and blase, just tons of freaking Q&As, right? So we have all this content in here. So that's our content hubs, all right? The hubs should be then fed with supporting content. What do I mean by fed with supporting content? So if you have a blog, when we actually go to start doing our internal linking, for instance, this is about when you should lay sod in Missouri. And this will go over into some of the tips and guides. And then also another thing we can do, which we will wind up doing, is you take some of the blogs, and then in specific, when we set up our blogs, you can set up categories. So when we actually start blogging, we can go in the back end underneath. Instead of putting all the categories underneath one thing, we can set up categories by keyword. Right now, it's just sod, and we got uncategorized. I generally will get rid of this category altogether. Sod or sod installation, we'll take in, sod prepping, We'll take up lawn care, all the different categories we're going to be pushing. And then what we'll wind up doing is on the different service pages, like sod installation, I will have a blog roll at the bottom that goes over sod installation. And every blog we've ever posted about sod installation will be down here. All right. So we're feeding supporting content into each of our pages. We're going to be updating our content on a regular basis. You can use Surfer SEO if you so choose. I don't use a whole lot of those anymore. I just don't see that there's a need for it, mainly because Surfer SEO, like I've already shown y'all, it's going to push you to want to do 3,000 words of content per each damn page you go to do. Every time I've seen it, that's what it does. You could do that, but building up for example, I asked, when you're doing this, do you have an about us page? No, we don't have one yet. You got a contact page. Do you got your privacy policy, terms of service? You need to have all of that. Now we're going to get an on-page SEO, right? On the on-page SEO, what most people get confused about SEO, and this is specifically with SEO people, is they write for search. You're supposed to be writing for people, not for search engines. In other words, make it make sense. Don't just go in there and say, we're the best sod installation company in all of Missouri because we got so many sod reviews and blah, 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 blah. It needs to actually make sense. Right. And all of this right here, checking your H1 header, make sure we got an H1 header up here, which this is what that is. We want that on every single one of our pages. What's your keyword? What's your focus keyword? Sod installation services, sod installation St. Louis, Missouri. That's our focus keyword for this page. Use one H1. I don't want to come to a damn page you're going to give me to audit and it's got like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever H1s. Okay. You can use Conversion AI to do a lot of your meta descriptions and meta titles and all that sort of thing. So if you go in over to Conversion AI and, for example, I'll show you when it pulls up, we go to templates, we go to SEO, and it will write the title and meta descriptions for your blog posts, your home page, your product pages, your service pages. Let's say, for example, it was a service page and the name of the company is Sod Installation St. Louis. So Sod Install St. Louis. All right. And if we were going to do a description of the service, I'm going to grab that and just, and the main keyword is going to be sod installation in St. Louis. And I hit generate content and it's going to give me some service page titles and meta descriptions. So it's gotten to the point, really, bots have almost killed SEO. You can pretty much make this very simple on yourself anymore. Here's a title, meta description. If you need sod installation in St. Louis, Missouri, call on the experts at Sod Installation St. Louis. We have been providing top quality for several years, and we'll ensure that your lawn looks fantastic for our expertly laid sod. Call us today and schedule an appointment. All right. So you can use that to do most of the meta titles, meta descriptions. The other thing we're going to get into, and we'll use Link Whisperer to do this, but you're going to be doing all your internal linking. In other words, your internal linking should be linked to relevant pages. Like your benefits of sodding should be, linked to this, the list, this. There should be an internal link structure, not just random, hey, link to this. You'll come into a lot of websites and they'll just send everything to the contact page or everything to the facts page. Well, what about your blog? What about your tips? What about your services? Okay. We're also going to, especially when we do the neighborhood pages, which we will be doing this week, We're going to do linking out to other authoritative websites. For example, what's some nearby restaurants? Number one authoritative website we're going to be pulling off on in the neighborhood pages is going to be Google. All right. And y'all will see exactly how we do that. Never link to a page or website with the same anchor as the current page is targeting. In other words, I don't really want to link out to the same person trying to rank facade installation in St. Louis. That's just common freaking sense. And a lot of this is just manual checking. Name your images properly. Let me see if I could show you this really cool tool. So Surfer came out with something yesterday, acting as if they created something. And it's a tool that already exists. Okay. This tool, essentially what you do, and I'll show you this, is let's take an image off of Google, right? And just put SEO, maybe New York or something like that. Just grab an image. And let's see, for example, I'm going to take this image right here and see if it will pick it up, but save as. We're just going to save it as what it's named. You drag and drop this image, and it's very important to actually use these tools sometimes, and you'll see why. But this is an API. It's called Cloud Vision. It's by Google Cloud. When I drop this image in here, Google is going to read it, and it's going to tell me, without me doing anything, what does it see in this image. This is why I told y'all that Google's AI can read stuff. It's telling you this is on Liberty Island, right? This is the Statue of Liberty, right? Then that's the landmark. Then you could go to object. It sees building sculpture, which is the Lady of Liberty is a sculpture, another building. Does it see any labels? Building, skyscraper, cityscape, tower, condominium, statue, all this other stuff. And it also sees a logo. It sees this right here, right? It sees advertising, this right here. It sees the electronic signage. Does it see text? It sure the hell does. It sees this text you got here. SEO, New York. It's reading it. Like I've said 50 million times that it does read it. Is it safe? Yes. Is it got adult pornography in it or violence? Is it racy? Is it medical? No. So that's a really cool feature, if you will, that you can use specifically whenever you are trying to upload content. Sometimes I can use this for black hat SEO if I want to get a GMB disabled, which we will not go over that today, but I'll just put it this way. You can use images and upload them to someone's GMB and do someone harm if you so choose. But that's one aspect, okay, of the images. Setting your alt text properly. What is alt text? So alt text is, for example, when I go to this image, what does Google see? All right. If I was to inspect that, what is Google going to see? Your alt text is, and when we go through this, it should be, for instance, sod installation, Missouri, right? It should be, right now, it's just image. So we're going to go through this and actually show you how to do all this crap. It's not just me talking about it. So when you go in here and you set up your alt images, I'll give you an example. Where do you set your alt images at? So if I went into this actual page, you could do it from the page or you can do it from the media gallery. If you go into the media gallery, for example, if I click on any of these images, you just see it says IMG_0314. That does not help your SEO whatsoever. So your alt text and your title should be along the lines of, let's say, sod installation St. Louis, or whatever you're wanting at the time. The title, around the same thing, right? That's one of the things that you're going to want to do, right? We're just going through this, and then we're going to actually do on-page SEO. Social markup. Then we're going to the dwell time. This is if you actually already had this site and it's been up for a long time. Dwell time is how long does someone actually stay on this page? When they are on this page, how long are they staying on it? The longer the dwell time, the better. A lot of times what will help that is if, let's say, on your services pages, we actually put videos of sod installation, like a video right here instead of text, or a video right here instead of an image, right? Don't over optimize. Don't over optimize, for example, would be, once again, writing for humans, not for search engines, search engines like this. Instead of going, these are just a few reasons why sod installation is beneficial for Missouri homes. That's nice. It reads properly instead of reading like I'm trying to write for search engines. Okay. Off-page SEO, we'll get to this. This is the off-page is link building and social posts and GMB posts, and then we're going to get into local SEO. Okay. One of the things I like about this tool, give me 1 second, and I'll show you guys. Give me 1 second. So this, give me 1 second, I'll pull it up. I'm going to run an audit report on the sod installation so I can show you guys. I need to get this real quick. Give me 1 second. I'll get to some of your questions. Mark. The auditor. Please log out. All right, so I'm going to go through some of these questions. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to actually show you the audit report and why I like it, etc., and what does it show you. But let's first go through some of these questions because we're about halfway through the class for today. All right. I have 30. Jack says, who's generating all that content? I got almost 34 employees. I got 4 content writers alone. We generate close to 6.5 million words of content on a weekly basis. Okay. Is there slow load time for the Google Maps, and how does that affect customers? Not on Gutenberg. Conversion AI. I use Conversion AI like, it's my wife. We work together. We're always together, that sort of a thing. So I push Conversion AI because it does almost anything and everything you're ever going to need when it comes to convert content and writing good content. Not using any on-page tools on the client's website, driving directions, input, many Google Maps is load. Y'all worry. These are things, Patrick, people worry about. For instance, when we do the location page, okay, that the maps are going to slow down that page and blase. Once you see it, I mean, too many people worry about things like this. It's not affecting the SEO. My driving directions do not affect the SEO. I have too many people, and I'll tell you why I say that. I have too many people that simply rank the pages number 1, right? And they wouldn't be ranking. Not only are they ranking, but they're in the top pages. They're, when I say top, I mean they're on page 1. It's not just, hey, I'd say do something and y'all should obey me or whatever. Test it. Guarantee you. I mean, now if you do the advanced stack, yes, it does tend to slow it down only because it's 3,000 driving directions. I mean, it's going to slow it down. I'm currently running the auditor, and I will show you all that again. Matter of fact, instead of just doing it, Let's pull up the audit report or auditor. It is called Website Auditor. Okay, you get this at link-assistant.com. Link-assistant.com. And I'm going to show you what it does. So this little handy dandy tool here that I like, once I open it, and I'm going to show y'all, let's just open it from scratch. It is called Website Auditor. It is put out by link-assistant.com. And you simply take the URL, hit finish, and it goes through everything I just went through y'all manually reading. It checks everything for you. You know, like some of these tools that pop and some other ones that come out, Quora, they do similar things, same thing pretty much. But this puts it out in a nice little PDF spreadsheet. I can email it. I can save it. I can print it. I can do a bunch of stuff that, you know, you're not going to be able to do on a lot of these other tools. All right. When I go to send the report, I can actually insert my client's logo. I can insert an agency that I'm white labeling if they want me to put their logo on it, and then they can send it to their client. I could do all that stuff. So it's really cool. Once it's done, I'll show you. It doesn't take too long. It's already at 88%. It's going through every page, checking everything. It checks for errors and everything. We shouldn't have too many errors, mainly because we just got done building this site. Okay, so it's almost done. We have 398 URLs found. Doesn't mean pages, but it's just the URLs. Okay, now 849 issues. Everybody going, oh my God. That's nothing. Okay, I've seen them where they got 30,000. All right, number one, there's no errors. The number one thing you want to look for on these reports, that you get people that send you and say you got 800 errors. No, sir. I have 0 errors. I have 1 warning, and then I have 848 info issues. Okay, let me explain the difference. An error is an actual error. Hey, you got a redirect. Hey, you have broken images. Hey, you have broken links. Those are errors. Hey, you have redirects. The only one it's saying is, hey, here's a warning. It's not even saying it's an error. It's just saying warning. Maybe want to look at this because it's not a best SEO practice according to, if you will, the SEO armchair magicians. Too big of a page. One of the pages are too big. Oh my God. I don't really care about that one. Now the info ones is, for example, do you have resources restricted from indexing? You want to check this and go, okay, let me check it. So I go to site audit. This is just a summary. I go to site audit details. Once I click details, I can go through this and I can go through all the details. So the resources restricted from indexing are, of course, the database. Yes, I want it restricted. Yes, I want the login restricted. All that crap. Yes, I want all that done. So guess what? That is 100 and something so-called info warnings that don't even matter on this report. It tells you, is the website mobile friendly? Yes. Is the HTTP and HTTPS set up? Is there mixed content issues? Just like we just went through on that, on the spreadsheet. Do they have an excessive number of links? I could give a shit about that. And if you don't understand why, go to wikipedia.org and you tell me that excessive backlinks or links is a problem. And I will tell you, then please tell me why Wikipedia is ranking. All right. The one that you'll have a lot, which people get, is empty alt text. Empty alt text is what we just went through. When you run these audits for clients or potential clients, this is where we're going to get most of our errors from. It's going to be broken backlinks, redirects, 404 pages, empty meta tag, empty meta description, empty meta titles, none, duplicate. So you see on ours, we have all of our, we have no empty title tags, no duplicate titles, no too long, no empty meta, no empty duplicates, none of that. So the only thing we got to fix is we got to fix on this, which my boys will do, is we're going to be fixing all of our on-page SEO. Another thing we're going to be doing, and I will show in another class when we actually do it, is going to be, for example, we will actually put the latitude and longitude on each of our images on every single one of those images on the website. And we do this for all of our agency clients as well. Everything I teach in this class is exactly what we do for our agency clients. Okay. I'm going to show y'all, because it is 8:40, I'm going to show y'all a couple of little tricks that we're going to want to do. Like for your home page and for your contact page, for the love of God, go to maps, right? And we're going to show you this again. You don't know how many times I've come to a map or a website and they do not even have, which we just got done building this, but they do not have a map like this embedded on the home page. Embed that bitch in the home page. This is very important. Your embeds are very, 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 very important on the home page. And then on the contact page, make sure it's there. Okay. The next thing we're going to want to do, see all these lovely little reviews? There is a plugin that you're going to want to install. And this is what we're going to be showing today. Okay. We go to plugins. Just how hard it is, believe it or not, it's really hard. You're going to go add new. And we're going to hit Google reviews. It's by Trustpilot. I'm going to show you how to set it up and everything. We're going to go through reviews. This is the actual stuff we're going to be doing today. Here it is, Trust Index, not Trustpilot, but trustindex.io. We hit install. This is one of the very, very, very few plugins you'll ever see me use. And hit activate. Now, once it's actually activated, you'll see on your left-hand bar over here, this trustindex.io. We are going to click on that. All right. Now, how do I get my Google Place ID so I can put it in here? All right. Let me show you how. You're going to go to maps, just like we did already. And we're going to put it in, sod install. Right. Sod installation. It pulls it up and I click on it. I grab this URL up here. Copy it. Go over here, paste it, check it. And once it checked, it found it, and I hit connect. Google is reading these embeds. It's very important to understand that Google reads the embeds. Now, when you choose your layout, depending on the colors and stuff that you want, I usually want to go with this because I know Google's going to read this image. Right? I know they read the embed. So I'm going to select this or select this one. Generally, I'm going to select this one right here, or this one. So let's go ahead and select this one. I feel like slider number 3 would be a good one. It's already pulled your reviews. Once a month or so, you may want to go pull the reviews right here where it says my reviews. Then it says get reviews. If you want to get your reviews, you can, it shows you how to get reviews in here. I don't want to do that, but we're configuring this widget. So we selected the light background. We got that. Now I got this background. Which ratings do I want to show? Of course, I don't want to show negative ratings. So I'm only going to do 4-star and 5-star. And then I hit save and get code. Now I hit copy to clipboard. Now I come back out to the home page. I'm going to want to put that somewhere on the top page, somewhere on page 1. Likely, very likely, I'm going to put it right here underneath learn more, or underneath our sod. And I'm going to do it by hitting edit page. This site is built in Gutenberg. I'm not an expert in Gutenberg yet, so bear with me. But I do like it because of the core vitals. All right. Now, for instance, if I wanted to put it right here, when I go to click in this box, Gutenberg box, I'm going to hit a plus sign, and then I'm going to hit, let's say, short code. And then I'm going to drop my short code here, right? And then I'm going to hit update, and I'm going to hit save. And ideally, that short code should already appear. It should already be pulling my reviews. And what do you know? It's pulling my reviews. Next step, get a notepad or Word document, even better. And we're going to do this because Google reads this stuff. You're going to come in here and you're going to pull the reviewer's name and the review link. The reviewer's link. Did you know that every reviewer has a review profile which is attached to a Google property? So for instance, I'm going to take this one, and his name is Michael Turtle, right? Mr. Turtle. He's feeling turtly today. It's a 5-star review, and I'm going to grab his review. And then another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on his name, and now it's going to open it up to his review profile, right? And I'm going to copy that link, and I'm going to put all this information in my handy dandy little sheet. So I know that I'm taking all of those reviews and then all that information, and I'm putting it on a sheet. What am I going to do with it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a review slider and actually put a review slider in here to say, for instance, hear what people are saying about us, and put the written review in here. This is a embed. This is an actual embed of reviews. It is not a written, if you will, on the website. It pulls it from Google's API. And then I'm going to do written on the actual website. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is a hack. It's a little trick, okay, that most people don't do. And I've mentioned it before, and it has to do with CTR manipulation. And there's this handy dandy little tool that will help me get it. You know what it's called? It's called Plepper. All right. So you see this free quote button I have right here? What I want is when someone goes, we're going to change this to write a review. Okay, I want someone to actually write a review. So I'm going to change that to write a review. But here's what I want. You usually go to Plepper, or let's say we'll go to our Google My Business listing and we'll grab the share link for writing a review. And I'll show you what most people do, and I'll show you why you should not do it that way and why you should do it the way I'm going to show you. All right. So for the most part, you know, this is what people are going to get. They're going to go, for instance, we're going to go Sod, Louis, St. Louis, or in this case, let's go back to maps and let's actually do it the way we would normally do it. We go Sod supplier, or Sod supplier, St. Louis. Right. And we can click on this one. And then we grab this hyperlink up here, or this URL structure, copy it. I'm going to go over here, put that as links to map. What's the term I want them to look up when they're finding it? Sod supplier, St. Louis. Hopefully it doesn't make me a liar, because sometimes it won't work. but most of the time it does. Just depends on the URL structure. Most of the time, this is what people are going to be sending to somebody, and they'll say, for instance, you want the pop-up, and I'll give you another example. If I went to Google and let's put SEO Orlando, and I wanted to send someone to write reviews, right? If we went write a review for this place and we wanted to send them here, right? Most people will just grab the share link. They'll just grab the share link for the review generator. I do this. I go, let's create a Google search with the CID, which you'll see right here. In the URL structure, let me grab a notepad and blow it up so you could see it. There's two very important pieces that are in this text. The CID attaches it to a specific location. The LRD is the code that calls to the same said location. So these two are tying that review link to where you want them to go. Okay. If I was to put that in, it should, the way it normally works is it will bring in that pop-up. So it will actually pop up and show you the review pop-up, which is this. So when I go to actually install that, I am sending them, I'm doing two things. I'm now showing them, hey, I want you to do a Google search for this specific keyword, tying it to the CID, the LRD, and I'm sending them to my GMB, which affects click-through rate manipulation. Okay. So what I'll wind up doing is I'm going to have that pop-up attached to this, and instead of free quote, it's going to say write a review. Okay. Give you an example. Let's go back to this, copy it, and we'll go edit page. And we're almost done, and I'm going to open it up for questions. See, free quote right here. You know, we can change that to write a review. And we're going to edit the link. We're going to have it open in a new tab, of course. And then we're done. Going to update it, save it. View the page. Write a review, and what do you know? It's still linked over to the other one, and that's why we want to check it every time, because just because you do it doesn't mean it's going to work. So edit page, go back to that button and say, why in the hell are you not? Yep, it's still linked to the wrong page. So we're going to go there. We're going to hit update. We're going to hit save. And then once it's done saving, we're going to double check it, make sure it does my pop-up the way I want it to do. Write a review. What do you know? It does the pop-up. All right, at this time, I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to go through the questions and see what we can, because we got a bunch of them. I'm going to cover as many as I can. All right. Who's generating the contents? My boys downstairs. I already answered that. What server do I use? I use Hawk Host. Hawk is the bird host. Okay. Hawk Host. If you need that, I'll put that on the back end as well for my recommendations. Is Hawk Host only for use? I don't understand that question, Kevin. NitroPack is better than WordPress Rocket, hands down. I've tried WordPress Rocket, and I've tried a bunch of other ones, and I've tried NitroPack. I can literally install NitroPack on any site without touching any settings, any. I just install plugin, connect, and it's a freaking A usually. So, and with WordPress Rocket, I have to go in and set some settings up and some other things. And I used to do all that craziness and I worked my ass off just to get a score on GT metrics. Now, honestly, I look at that, but I mainly concentrate on the core vitals. So let's see what else. What other questions do we got? Get your question in because that's all we're going to ask. So gzip is basically where it compresses or decompresses scripts on the actual site. That's, I mean, the easiest way I can say it, and it's still complicated to even say it. Lazy load is essentially, think of this way: when you go to a website, if you've been there just one time, it's going to load all the information upon your visit, and it's a way in which it's not going to load it every time you go to it. It's going to be cached, and you want it to be cached. That's what your CDN's for and everything else. I don't use WordPress Rocket no more. I always use www, but most importantly, besides that, use HTTPS. Use your SSL. Okay. And HTTP, I do not use ever, mainly because if you're using HTTP, that means you're telling Google, hey, my site's not secure. NitroPack gets priority in my case over everything else. Most people don't index categories and tags because the content is too thin. Well, you can do that, or you can optimize your categories. You can actually optimize your categories, believe it or not, which most people do not. But if you went into your post and went to your categories and you wanted to actually optimize them and you want them indexed, you can actually put a full on description in there. There is a place for a description, and most people do not do it. So if I went to my categories underneath my posts, you can edit the name, edit the slug. The slug is the short name. Is there a parent category? You can add in text or whatever in here. Okay, you can use Yoast or Rank Math and edit the focus keyword. You can edit all this information. Most people just don't do it. I'm one of the few people that will do it. Screaming Frog is really good for audits. Okay. How do you prevent Googlebot from indexing your database and login pages? It's kind of automatic. No, it's nothing I have to per se do. It's just something set up in WordPress. I've rarely seen anything where it's not. What do no index and no follow tags mean? It means do not put me in the search engines. That's all it means. Don't put me in the search engines. So for instance, cannibalization. Cannibalization is where, once again, you have the same keyword. Let's say it's tree removal and another one's emergency tree removal. This is why you need unique content, right? If you don't do unique content, you're going to have a hard time ranking both pages. You may wind up having both pages ranked for tree removal. Okay. But if you write unique content, you're not going to have that problem. If this page is nothing about, is all about tree removal, emergency tree removal, and my image is about emergency tree removal, my alt tags are about emergency tree removal, everything I do is about emergency tree removal, then I'm not going to have a problem. But if I come in here and I just think I'm going to throw in a header or two and say emergency tree removal, then you're going to have a problem. Okay. That's not unique content. My blogs that I'm doing, that I do normally, are 1,500. For this one, I'm doing 2,500, and I'm doing 4 of them this week. And that's going to be 10,000 words just added in blogs. How to set up a blog structure to avoid cannibalization. Write unique blogs. It's that simple. You know, don't write the same blog about the same topic every damn time you turn around. Astra. What theme am I using for Gutenberg? Astra. There are blocks and different things you can use. Gutenberg is owned by WordPress, and it's not its own thing. And if you're sticking around long enough, WordPress is probably going to be getting rid of most builders. It's like they want to eliminate most of them. But they are incorporating some Elementor and stuff into Gutenberg. It's almost like they're trying to swallow them up. Okay. How do I build my silos? Tony, go back to keyword research. It's one of the previous videos, and you'll see exactly how I build my silos and my content. I gave a spreadsheet as well in regards to, and that is in my GMB toolkit. And I literally have in there, it is called buyer intent. And I went over what is buyer intent, what's informational keywords, navigational keywords, and transactional keywords, and how to silo them. What sort of limitations do I have in the medical field when ranking GMBs and websites? When it comes to medical field, I got about 6 years of my experience is from pain clinic, medical marijuana. I worked for a major doctor in Jacksonville, Florida. We beat the top 3 or 4 hospitals. We were the #1 primary and pain clinic. He is still the #1, and he's also a medical marijuana clinic as well. So in regards to what limitations you have, same thing with lawyers and a couple other places. You just can't be writing stupid content and trying to advise people on how to heal themselves, or, hey, this is why you're having this issue. You have to have a disclaimer at the bottom. It's besides that, there's not too many more limitations. You can't respond to reviews any old fashioned because you have HIPAA. You have HIPAA, and you can have HIPAA violations depending upon how you respond. You have to be careful in how your communication takes place on the website, because you can have HIPAA violations. Okay. How do you know dwell time? Dwell time, if you go to Google Search Console, think of it this way, or Google Analytics, and I'll show you. But essentially, when someone is on a page, how long are they staying on that page? And you go to Google Analytics to see it. So you can go underneath, if you will, your audience, and you can look at the overview, and you can look at each page inside of your analytics, and you can see the bounce rate. You can see how long they stay on there, how many pages they go per session. And I'll show you this. This is just one specific client. All right. So you have how many new users, how long are they staying on the site, 3 minutes, the bounce rate's at 56%, etc. How many pages are they going into when they go there? All that. That's what that is. Better dwell time. Add videos on your service pages. You know, I did find, and I will be going over this, the other steps that we do with a blog. I'm going to be showing you how we do a press release. And we're going to actually be walking you through the 10 steps on that press release, like Lane had. And then after I do the press release and it's released, and then I also do a blog, what do I do with that? Because the way I do it specifically is I do a blog, I post it on the website, then I do a YouTube channel for that specific client. Then I optimize that YouTube for their main keywords. I optimize the YouTube video. I put 1,000 words of content inside of that video in the description with backlinks, hashtags, everything. Hyperlink it back to that page or that blog. I embed the YouTube video onto that blog, and then I do a press release. And then that's magic. And then on top of it, throw CTR with CTR Vipers, which we'll be going through in another class as well. We're going to be going through all this, and just keep, even though he's already in the top 3, we're still going to be going through the rest of it. All right. How do I handle alt text when the same image is used on a few pages? That's your problem. You should use unique images. Don't use the same image all the damn time. Another thing is if you're going to just re-upload the same image on different pages and then rename it what you want it to be. But I would tell you to use different images if you can. It's not something I'm a stickler on. For image SEO, do you add the geodata if it is missing? Okay, the geodata is not important when it comes to uploading, if you will, onto your GMB. Now, that being said, it is important if you are at the location of the physical GMB or I'm a service area and I upload from my phone. That's different. If I'm actually at a computer right here in the Philippines, or even in, let's say my business is in Atlanta, but I'm not at the premises and I think I'm going to upload images and it's going to help me, stop wasting your stupid time. It's not going to help you any. You can name it an alt tag. You can name it, let's say, sod supplier. Even that stuff sometimes is scraped. Okay. Your geo, latitude, longitude, XF information's wasted time if you're doing it from your, let's say, local Viking even. And I love local Viking. But they'll tell you that it is, being uploaded. Now, if you read the rules and talk to them, they tell you it's as it's uploaded. Yes, it is uploaded with the information. But once it's uploaded, what Google does with it, we don't know. They're not going to tell you no. I will tell you no. It doesn't. Now, that being said, what we will show you how to do is how to take these images and now take the latitude and longitude and put the latitude and longitude on the images on your website. All right. Now, naming the alt tag, naming the file images and everything, what you want them to be named on the website, that helps. Naming them and putting the latitude and longitude and then putting them on various Web 20 sites, that helps. Putting it on Google, no, stop wasting your time. All right. How much does Auditor cost me? Auditor costs me, just that one tool, I think is like $300 a year. The whole package is like $1,000, I want to say, a year or something. Wait till Christmas if you ever go to buy it. I'll promise you that, because they always run specials every damn year. Like right now, what I have is called Enterprise, and I'll show it to you. The professional version, you're not going to be able to save stuff. You're not going to be able to print stuff. To do that, you need Enterprise. Cost me $700 a year. Right now, they have it at 50% off. It's normally almost $1,400. Okay. If you want it, get that. And yes, I am an affiliate of that one. Or I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am, or I used to be. Kevin, can we have a SOP when setting up HTTPS properly? I mean, you could, but I mean, I could literally do it in 5 minutes if you had. I would just need someone, if you wanted to, Kevin, give me your, if you have SiteGround. Any of y'all have SiteGround, send me your SiteGround access by adding my email address, or send me an email first. Send me an email if you got SiteGround, and then I'll tell you what to do. I'll make a little 5-minute video and show you how to do it. Simple, easy peasy. HawkHost, we can do it as well on that one. I just need someone that actually has a domain that has not been set up, that we need to have set up, or has been set up but doesn't have an SSL installed. And yes, I can show you. For the love of God, people. Is there a list of plugins installed all in one place? No, because I don't use too many plugins. I use like 4, if that. It's really Nitro Pack, Google Reviews, backup, if I have to, but that's generally done on my host. It's Yoast. So really, that's it. I don't do a whole lot of plugins. I do like 4. I don't like leaving plugins on the back end too. If you if you have plugins that are not updated or not being used, you should get rid of them. Why? Because if you leave them there, And let's say, God forbid, you get someone that wants to hack your site, they can easily hack your site, right? Just by simply getting into some of the old plugins that have not been updated. The other plugin I use and I don't leave on a website though is called all-in-one migration. If you've ever done a web build and then you need to quote unquote install it or update it or whatever, that's really good tool. You can use it and just migrate a website from your staging over to the new one. And I'll show you some of the plugins that we do use. I mean, this is the client stuff, so I really don't touch it. But overall plugins I use, of course, the Gutenberg layout. I use Astra Pro. You have to use call blocks. I have a call to action button block. I use Google Analytics plugin, Monster Insights. I use what's necessary. I'll put it that way. I don't use stuff just to use it per se. And a lot of people, that's what happens. They get in here and they just start using every plugin under the sun, and then their site's slow and they don't know why. And if you go in the back end, they have 30 something damn plugins, and that's why, I thought the shortcut is no longer available. Nope, very much available. Short code. Well, why would I want to change it to write a review? And you would want it to be free quote, because I'm going to put another free quote button right dead underneath the center where it says St. Louis Sod Install Pros, and right above it, it has a big ass green number that says call me. I'm not, and you'll different clients on top of it will either want you like get a quote. Okay, here's an example. Would I want a phone number here, then another button that says get a quote? This is for the phone and this is for the phone. No sense. Phone number, write a review. The other one you may want to do, depending on your client, is phone number and then get a quote could take you to a form to fill out. Well, guess how many people actually want to fill out a form? Guess how many people that are sod installers or blue collar workers want someone to fill out a form? Most of them want a phone call. They could give a shit about a form. Astra theme. When you write a manual review on the homepage, you also link the reviewer profile. Yes. Hawkhost is good for non-US domains. I don't know, because various laws are for various different people. So you do different ones in Australia, do different ones in the UK, especially the UK. gzip is in NitroPack. That's why I don't worry about it. Most of the stuff when it comes to server and hosting, you can solve it with NitroPack. Yeah, competitors can write bad reviews, and I can also write bad reviews on them. And if I find out they're writing bad reviews on me, I know how to take their GMB down. So, I mean, they could do a lot of things. There's a lot of tactics that you could get involved with. When someone writes a bad review, I can write a response in Jarvis that's 1,000 words and stuff that freaking review with all my keywords, my locations, and everything. Most people don't do that because they don't want to put the work in. All right. Lazy load is a part of my NitroPack and a bunch of other stuff. I don't have to do anything when it comes to that with NitroPack. I have a whole list, pins and master, of all my tools. It's in the back end of Rank Fortress Academy too. I have a bunch of them, but I stick around a couple, mainly Conversion AI. On my website, you'll see all the ones that I mainly push, if you will, that I use the most, which is going to be Conversion AI, Local Viking, SEMrush, Power Suite, GMB Crush, Surfer, Signal Genesis, or what used to be Quantum. But I have probably 30 or so tools. Do I have an opinion on Contabo hosting versus Hawkhost? No, I only use Hawkhost. I went from SiteGround to Hawkhost for all the reasons I've mentioned before. Yep. Big update coming up for Gutenberg regarding Block Builder, making it almost the equivalent of Elementor, but with all the wonderful page speed and all the core vital sticking. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that question. I'll answer it, but is Google Search Console free? Do I need to answer that one? Y'all make me laugh. Yes, it's free. Google Analytics is free too, believe it or not. Think of it this way: on your website, you want to get as many Google properties attached to it as possible. This is another reason why I say I'm attaching Google's write a review, the CID, and everything, and the LRD to the write a review. My YouTube tactic sounds like magic. Yep, it sure is. I just did an audit for someone the other day and went over that exact thing. And that's the only thing different between him and the other lawyer is the YouTube. He's in like number 5 and the other lawyer's at number 1. Only difference, content and YouTube. Can I use a competitor's review if the review doesn't state the company name by taking the CID and LRD? I mean, you could. I've never tried that. I mean, but you could. A Web 20 site is, for example, it's another website that you can upload onto, like WordPress.org. I have a whole list of them we'll eventually go through, but there's a bunch of them. Brown Bag. I mean, it's other websites that you can upload fixtures on. Think of for AWS, Amazon, Google Sites, stuff like that. Librica on LTD is great for an audit. Never seen it. Email it to me, Shabazz. Is there a plugin to constantly update blogs on your site? What do you mean by updating them? So if you're talking about adding blogs, no, you physically go in and add the blog, and then you can have a RSS feed, then go out to the rest of the places you want that blog to be published or syndicated out to. The only plugin I know of is a VA to do the work. I always use Pretty Links, Lance. I already went over that in the previous class last Friday, I believe. Pretty Link simply means when I go to SOD installation services, or I go to any one of my URL structure should be, for in this case, SOD installation St. Louis. And I'll show you. SOD installation stlouis.com/services/SOD installation services. What some people will wind up doing is you'll go to a URL structure and it's just gobbledygook. That is not a pretty URL. Pretty URL is like this: buffalo grass, maintenance, stuff like that. Okay. That is what a pretty URL is. Yeah, there's no dumb questions. Just keep asking. This is very much true. Let's see what else we got here. Think of LRD and a CID as the way in which Google recognizes what map or your business is attached to. It's a way of categorizing your GMB. That's all. It's nothing crazy. Have you ever come across automated schema creation? Yes, I actually have it. We did manual schema for the longest time, 30, 40 pages of schema. Our schema looks like nothing no one else does, except for 2 other people that I know of. Terry Samuels, who charges over $10,000 just for his schema. And then one other person, Brock Misner. That's the only 2 that I know of that do it the way we do it. And we developed a script to write ours and automate it. So what we're doing is we're actually making it pretty, giving it a nice, platform. So if I give it to you or I sell it, then you enter in your CID, you enter in your LRD, you enter in all the basic information, your same as information, your keywords. plug it in, it spits it out for you, and you just put it on your page. But that will be coming out likely in the next month. He has a done, yeah, Rob Beal has a done for you schema. I also have a done for you schema. My done for you schema right now is on sale, I think, for like $175 up to 20 pages. You know, so if you have a fax page, you're going to have a fax schema services page, services schema location page, location schema, all that. So, and if you're interested in that, just let me know. It's underneath. If you go to my website, unrankedfortress.com, go to SEO services. I'll see what page it's on and I'll let you know. But that's where you can get the done for you, even if you don't want the, you know, plugin, which we will have done in the next month. The schema is right here. It's on sale for $175. We normally do it for $350. And I got tons of stuff we got in here. We got backlinks, one-off GMB optimization. I do GMB reinstatements. When I do them, I usually have a GMB backup in 30 minutes. So I got all types of stuff in there. And of course, we got my courses. So if there's, what's the name of my press release blog, YouTube? Well, if you go to, if you're interested in my YouTube process, go to the GMB toolkit, which I gave everyone access to. If you go to the GMB toolkit, you're going to see this right here, GMB video rankings. Setting up your channel, tab 1, and I tell you step 1 through 13. Step 2, 1 through 20. This is on your second tab, how to create your videos. Step 3, how to promote them. So I give it to you. It's right there. And all you got to do is follow the step 1, 2, 3, 4, and bam, magic. I mean, and it's with the new program I have and I have access to. And once will probably likely on Friday, I'm going to be showing you how to write a blog or how we write a, you know, blog and then take it and put it in as a press release. But first it's going to be how do we write the blog? Then how do we put that in YouTube? And we'll go over that on Friday. If there's not any more questions, we will be getting off here. I'm already 30 minutes almost over. If you have any other questions, make sure to drop them in the back end of the group. And as soon as this is done, I'll be uploading it on the back end of the rankfortressacademy.com. And if you have any questions, just ask them in the group. All right. And I will talk to you soon. I appreciate it.